Volume 17 explores different heralds for Galactus. First, after losing Silver Surfer, Galactus recruits Bruce, who figures it would be a healthy role for both he and the Hulk to take on. He targets planets for Galactus to consume, even giving them ample time to scrounge together escape ships of his own design, but on a Kree planet is stopped by the Avengers. They tell him to stop and help them defeat Galactus, and Bruce attacks them. He knocks out Carol and Vision, while Tony grabs his new and improved Hulkbuster armor, but even that's ultimately no match for Hulk, and Tony is defeated. But in the battle, the escape ship is accidentally destroyed, leaving the Kree stranded. Tony admits they're the ones who suggested Galactus should recruit Bruce to keep him under control, but sees that he still hasn't found it, but he can oppose Galactus and save the planet, and Hulk flies off to confront Galactus. Next, shortly after he was manipulated by Sinister to massacre the Morlocks, Galactus grants Remy the power of the Herald. But instead of taking the role, he escapes to get revenge on his oppressors. Galactus sends legions of Punisher robots after him, but he uses his enhanced abilities to repel all of them, so Galactus puts him in his place himself and orders Remy to steal a planet obtained by the Collector. He crashes the party and charms his way into the Collector's vaults, where he finds the planet, which turns out to be Galactus' homeworld when Galactus was still mortal in the previous universe, that the Collector somehow managed to perfectly recreate. Collector refuses to give it up, thus Remy blows up most of his ship and collection and even freezes him in place. Galactus arrives through the world, but Remy reveals it's a fake, a practical joke by the Collector, and an enraged Galactus traps Collector in his own vaults for eternity. He frees Remy from servitude, and Remy goes to create his own planet. Next, Galactus tries to recruit Khonshu the Moon God, but he refuses and Galactus kills him. In his last moments, Khonshu transports Moon Knight, telling him to avenge him. Galactus is also present and tells him to convince him to spare Earth, Moon Knight saying he'll be his herald and lead him to a much larger feast, and Galactus agrees. Moon Knight aimlessly wanders the universe trying to figure out how to keep his promise when he's ambushed by the former heralds of Galactus. They attack, but Moon Knight fights back, barely able to keep a coherent mind thanks to his shattered psyche. He escapes and finds that while he tried to figure out his powers, Galactus has devoured Earth and is ready to devour him. He's unable to defend himself, and when the former heralds arrive to back him up, they're dealt with as well. However, Moon Knight is able to pull himself together just long enough to prove a match for Galactus, who flees the area, with Moon Knight knowing his work has just begun. Next, Silver finally tires of Galactus devouring planets with life and quits, thus Galactus knocks him out and sends him hurtling to Earth, where he crashes right outside a young rogue's farm. She attempts CPR, discovering her mutant abilities for the first time and absorbing Silver's memories and abilities. She goes to confront Galactus, with many mutants sensing history has been changed, and taunts him, telling him she won't obey. He finally catches her and she relents, but vows to be bad at it. She leads him to a world of giant dragons, hoping they'll hurt him, but they don't, and an angry Galactus punches her through the walls of the Watcher's outpost. Who tells her that Galactus devouring planets leaves residual energy that creates new life, but Rogue refuses to see the big picture and wants to focus on individual life, threatening to drain Galactus of his power, who allows her to see a fraction of his mind. Confirming the Watcher is right, and without him the universe would entropy. Thus she reluctantly accepts her role, but convinces him to spare at least 2 of every inhabitant to preserve their culture in a literal cosmic art. Finally, Gwen is traveling the multiverse when she ends up in the middle of the battle between Galactus and his rebellious herald Stardust. She confronts him, telling him she'll take their place, and he agrees. She serves her role, trying to find planets with as little life as possible, but on one planet is suddenly attacked by dragons, whom she fights off with the aid of a medieval fantasy-style troupe. She's taken back to their village, where she relates with the story of one of them who lost a dear friend, and is encouraged to try to stop Galactus from devouring the planet. They bring her to someone they think can help, who turned out to be the Sorcerer Supreme Nina, who uses her magic to enlist the dragons to their cause, and it ends with the world uniting in battle against the cosmic being. These were fine. I like issue 4 most, but they're all interesting takes on the idea from a multitude of writer and character viewpoints. They don't stand out much, but are entertaining enough for one read, and to bundle with the other instances in the series, Galactus has chosen alternate heralds.